Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Yeah.
Well, hello there and happy Tuesday. Welcome to Run It Back. Lou Will, Chandler P, and my name is Michelle. And we've got
green going on over
Oh my
here.
gosh, yeah, it's kind of, look at this.
All type of spectrums going on.
But also like we matchy match. Shut up, Chandler. We actually are starting today's show with a topic that I'm not excited to talk about, but we will. Thanks a lot, Shams, yesterday for ruining everybody's day with the tweet about Victor Wembanyama, who will be sidelined with a left calf strain. I feel like we've been saying those words a lot. There are going to be updates as appropriate. Sat out against the Kings on Sunday. He played 38 minutes against the Warriors on Friday. Mitch Johnson said that the tightness thing's not something obviously, that you want to take lightly. We've seen it too many times, and what has happened around the league. Okay, the calf injury part. Let's just start there, because even on our thread, we're like, what is going on with the calf injuries?
Well, especially if it was the play that Pods kind of took his legs out there, not intentional there, but this is something that you're going to worry about consistently when you're talking about Victor Wembanyama and his health and just kind of longevity of his career. We've never seen anybody with this kind of size and length and the way he moves, so we don't really know how to handle it, right? And I just know this is not going to be something they're going to rush back. And you guys are nuts, Michelle.
Seriously, literally drinking my water.
But again, it's scary, right? This is the worst thing that could possibly happen for them. He is their all-world everything. He is the anchor of that defense. Thank goodness they have some depth. They have, a lot of great guards that can kind of collectively get the job done while he's out. They got bigs like Cornette, Biyombo. I can see them going a little small ball lineups with Harrison Barnes and Sohan and Keldon Johnson playing kind of that 4 or 5. But it's going to be a huge blow to them just because of what he obviously gives them on the defensive end, offensively, everything. But you just hate to see it. They're off to such a good start. It's been nothing but positive energy and buzz around this franchise. And now you kind of have him down for a couple of weeks at minimum. It's just a tough blow for them early in the season when they're kind of on the rise.
Yeah, and collectively around the league, I don't know what to make of all of these calf strains, right? This is a particularly new thing that we're starting to hear in the NBA. Usually it's knees and ankles and things of that nature, and now we're starting to hear the term overuse. When it comes to these calf strains. So I don't know really what to make of it. We've seen how catastrophic it can be for a guy's career when that leads to the Achilles and all of those other things, the kinetic things that's connected to that. So hopefully this is something that is only a multiple week issue for Wemby and the rest of the guys that are dealing with this throughout the league. But yeah, this is interesting. It's starting to become a thing.
What do you guys do, like, when you're playing? Like, what? Because remember, like, Jordan had all the sleeves and everything else was going on. What modern day is
that's
happening?
That's what I mean. It's like, this can't be like a load management thing, right? It's 14 games in the season. I think a lot of this stuff...
He also missed a lot of time with the blood clots.
That's what I mean. A lot of this stuff is inevitable, right? It's going to happen, especially with a guy like him, who, again, I don't think trainers are prepared. They don't know what to expect. It's like a Zion. When you have that kind of explosiveness, that kind of athleticism, and a human body, it's hard to keep on the floor. Same thing with him. So I think there's always going to be kind of ups and downs with his health. And like Lou just said, you don't really want to rush this back because, knock on wood, this turns into something more severe, like an Achilles, something like that. Now we're talking he's out for the season. So this is something I think they'll have to be extremely patient with. This is why they go and get a Luke Cornette. This is why they go and sign, some of those other bodies like a Biyombo, because you got to factor that this guy is going to miss some time, which is just part of the game. But this, like that play, you can't predict that. You can't.
And you know what else? You also, this can be a legitimate injury, but you also know sometimes you might have something that you're dealing with, and the team will say, we're going to shut you down until we figure out what's going on, and we're going to put it out there that it's a calf strain or some of these things. But it can be more serious sometimes than reported, and sometimes it can also be a little less strenuous as well as reported. So like I said, hopefully this is something that he can get over in 2 to 3 weeks where he can get back into the swing of things. And some of these other guys, like...
These names are big.
Yeah, and he's a growing man. Like we talked about him growing 2 inches over the course of a summer. Like that's a lot, especially for somebody who's already 7'4", 7'5". And so there's going to be some bumps and some bruises along the way. I can only imagine what his body is going through. When you're adjusting, when you're dealing with growing pains at such a young age and at such a tall height. Like it's a lot.
Did you guys have calf strains?
No.
I mean, it kind of
Really?
went straight to my knees, honestly. But like, and also,
Because like, look at the names that have had recent AD, Ja, Drew Holiday, Luka, Hallie.
It's like
It's no similarities. Like some of these guys are grounded, some of these guys are
That's
high
what's crazy to
flyers.
me.
You got guards, you got bigs. So I don't see anything where I can really tie this into something. I
Especially-
would like more information.
we're
on it.
talking about all the stuff MJ and stuff used to do. We have so much more advanced medical
do we?
stuff now where they're doing the cryo chambers, they're doing the cold plunge, they're getting massaging.
Maybe you just need a good old-fashioned sleeve.
Dry needling. Yeah, go back
Maybe
to
it's
the
go back to the
go back to
sleeve.
the
You know what?
Don Joy
And
braces.
all the
and
way.
sleeves.
Maybe we're too technical.
That's what I'm saying. We're
Maybe
too
we've
much.
allowed too much medical
I think there's
people
something to
into
it.
the locker rooms where everybody's the smartest person in the room. We need to do this, we need to do that. Like,
Roll up the
maybe-
pre-wrap on the patella.
Yeah, maybe
do
we
it.
get back to the
Go old
basics
school.
and stop all these new machines and trying all of these new little gadgets and gadgets and all of that. Let's get back to the old-fashioned tape ankles.
High tops.
high
bring
tops.
Do
Everything
kids
come
even
back.
tape anymore?
We're ankle braces now.
No tape.
No tape.
Like I remember when I played, there was a time slot for
Like,
like, rookie
yeah.
to basically vet, and you had to go.
That's not a thing anymore at all?
I don't know. You're right.
telling you,
Last
man.
year I didn't
Yeah,
get taped.
I didn't know what to do.
I also didn't play.
Yeah.
There's something to
Me
this.
neither. I was
Too
an
much.
ankle brace guy. Yeah.
I think there's something to this. We do have like a little list of Wemby injuries so far in his career. Oh no, that's the schedule. Oh, well, we want to figure out if they're going to be all right. Look, they're 4-4 without him, I believe.
I'll tell you this. This is a favorable schedule, and again, I think it's going to be ups and downs here, but then there's going to be a huge hole defensively with him out, and they're going to have these guards kind of carry the load offensively, but that schedule, for the most part, it's not too
Grizzlies
bad.
tonight.
Yeah.
All right.
Grizzlies, Hawks, Suns, Blazers, like Grizzlies again. Like,
Hawks
like
play
rolling.
hard. Suns
no,
play hard.
Again,
Yeah.
there's not really an easy night, and a couple teams in the East, but still, there's no teams are just going to lay down. So I think this is a little bit favorable, but this is when they got to get other production from those other guys. This is where Vassell needs to be
Come
great.
on,
This is when
guys.
Keldon Johnson's going to be great. And this is also a great opportunity for Fox to get his legs back. Dylan Harper's going to come back in the lineup soon. Sohan's back now. Champagne's going to, like, these guys are just going to get more opportunity collectively with Wemby out just because he's such a big hole with him not on the floor.
And that's why we spoke about talent is at a premium. You need as much talent as you can in this league for scenarios like this when one of your best players are going to go out. You know, your best player gives you a great opportunity to win, but that's why you put other guys around them. That's why you have so many different role players. That's why you bring in a De'Aaron Fox, somebody who's been a 1A before that knows what it takes to get you over there. And then especially with the San Antonio Spurs as an organization, they are a plug-and-play organization. They have a style of play. They have a culture that they've created, a style that they like to go by. So I feel like they can get through this just fine with Wemby being out of the lineup. But again, that's why it's so important to have as much talent as you can, just in case the big dog goes down. You can still keep that ship steady.
And a couple weeks ago, we were thinking, what are they going to do with De'Aaron Fox? Like,
Yeah,
and
that was
now
fun.
it's like, well, now they're going to go like 3 guards. Now they're going to go 4 guards and like a big. So like now he's even more valuable, and it's even more of a luxury that they have him, and they're so deep at that position because now with Wemby out, they can be such a versatile lineup. We're going to see them go really, really small, I guarantee it, with like a Sohan or Harrison Barnes at 5.
Lobs to Cornet.
Keldon Johnson at 4, like, and then let those 3 guards just get out in transition and play fast. So it's going to be a different version of the Spurs than we're used to with Wemby on the floor.
They're 5th in the West right now. How do we feel about this? Couple weeks. They
I think
say
they
couple
maintain-
weeks, 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, they'll stay right around
I
there.
think they maintain, especially with how unpredictable the West is right now anyways. And this is not the only team that's dealing with injuries.
Yeah.
A lot of teams are starting to deal with some 2 or 3 week guys being out. That's going to change the trajectory of their seasons as well. And so because of San Antonio and how they play defense, how they attack on the defensive end, you know, they had their rim protection with Wemby, but those guards, they were in those passing lanes and they were putting pressure on the ball and doing everything that they needed to do to make them competitive on the defensive end. So I think they steady the ship, and I think they'll be all right with the schedule coming
And
up.
when we didn't really look at the history of his injury, but it's nothing really glaring.
Nothing
it's
real.
like hip tightness and right
Those seem
ankle
normal,
and
right?
sore back. Besides the blood clot thing, which obviously that can be extremely
can be
dangerous.
scary.
This is all normal bumps and bruises that you get throughout a normal NBA season. So this isn't something like a Zion or Joel Embiid or a Paul George, like graphic injuries that we're thinking that he's had to deal with. So I think this is all maintenance thing. This is all stuff that's going to happen throughout his career. It's just a little scarier when you are the franchise face of the league growing up into this just monster right before our eyes, and you're 7'6". Like,
Yeah,
we
people
just,
are
we
like,
just,
ooh.
it's a little bit hold your breath every time he goes down. So that's the only scary part.
That's how you spell SOAS, P-S-O-A-S. Did I learn that today? SOAS. Oh, I didn't know that.
You
Heard
got
that word a lot.
SOAS.
Okay, we're done. You're done. You're on timeout.
I could help it. I'm sorry.
That was actually good. Ja Morant, another player, also happens to be the Grizzlies playing the Spurs tonight, but he's going to be out with a calf strain. That was announced yesterday. At least 2 weeks, grade 1. This injury took place, there you go, Saturday night against the Cavs. That was their 4th straight loss. This very grim in Memphis right now. 4-10 on the season. I don't know what you do with this team. Like, it's so early in the season, and yet it feels like there's no real hope. What do we do?
I mean, 4-10 is in a deep, deep, deep conference. It's not a great start, and now you're kind of your everything player who's already been in the headlines this year for outside noise goes down. And this is another interesting thing. Like, when a guy like his athleticism and explosiveness, you would think it'd be a different kind of move rather than like a collision like that. So a grade 1 is good news. So this isn't something
It's great that it wasn't non-contact.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like the Halliburton where he goes to get back on defense and you see a pop or a strain. This is just more of like a bruise that will heal. And I think Ja should be back, quicker than Wemby, just given on the highlight in the report. But it's tough. You got Ja Morant, again, who were in the headlines all season long for the wrong reasons. Now he's out. They just get Zach Edey back. They found, lightning in a bottle with this rookie Coward. Besides that, there's been no real bright spots on this team, and their free agent signing backup point guard Ty Jerome, he hasn't played at all this season yet, so now they would need him more than ever with Ja Morant out. Maybe he can get back in the rotation here, but it's just tough. It's when you look at the Western Conference, it's too good, it's too deep. So when you start off 4-10 like this, and now your best player goes out, it's a devastating blow for them.
God, Ty Jerome is there. That's a weird transition.
He was great last year too.
I know.
He
get
needs
an
to
opportunity
get right
now for sure.
What happens to the trade value for Ja Morant, Lou? I mean, we're not going to see him for at least a couple more weeks, and everything that Chandler just mentioned. Like, what exactly is that plummeting?
I think it's still there. We're not going to discount the talent that Ja Morant has and how talented that he is. Obviously, the issues that he's dealing with the organization and dealing with his coach, now having a calf strain and having these injuries, it doesn't help his case at all. But once he gets back on the floor and you can see him be healthy, I think there's going to be some teams that's going to still call for him. And if I'm Memphis, I'm probably picking up the phone now and saying, you know what, this season looked like it's going down the drain really fast, and we're probably going to start over and redo this thing. And this gives them that opportunity to look at that and give it a real solid look to see what the future looks like with Ja Morant or without him.
Yeah, I think the trade value for him is pretty low right now, if I'm being honest with you. And I think it's
like, what is that? What's low?
I mean, listen,
think the same teams that liked him before yesterday still do.
I think just the way the game has shifted in general. Not even talking about any of the distractions, the outside noise that he's been through, any of that stuff. I think just the way the game has shifted and the way he plays and his athleticism, once he loses that and then shooting has never been his strength, I just think that is going to enable kind of his potential in years to come. There's not, I think the best basketball of Ja Morant, I think we may have already seen that just based on the style of play. And I don't think he's just going to develop and turn into an elite jump shooter overnight, and that's the way the league is going. So when I see these trade options, and
we have seen guys improve in categories that they didn't necessarily.
I don't agree.
I think right now when you look across the league and you look at all these guards, I think there's a lot more elite scoring, shooting guards than him, and that's the way the league has been going the last couple of years.
I think there is still a window for Ja Morant.
Oh, I'm not saying he's done by any chance. I am just saying.
But even still, look at Brunson. He needed a new start, right? He needed a new start to be who he is. Halliburton, he needed a new start to become who he is. Look at Shea. Even though he got traded, new start to become who he is. This is an opportunity for him to go somewhere else. Let me get a fresh start. Let me find my joy again. Let me find that groove. Because that's a real thing. Sometimes people don't understand, joy, you make millions of dollars. But in the workplace, when you go somewhere every day, you want to feel good and you want to feel confident in your abilities and in the scenario that you're in. And I think that's important for Ja Morant at this point of his career. So if he can get a fresh start, I think his name is right back in that conversation with everybody else.
I think he needs that fresh start. I think he needs it. You could just tell his demeanor, his attitude. Even I know it's media, and most players don't like doing media in the first place, but he's frustrated and he's not happy. He even said the joy word.
Joy is a big word.
The Jimmy Butler thing, again, like that, he seems miserable. So again, so when you combine all the stuff that he's went through, now the health issues, now losing games, now he doesn't really, hit it off with the new head coach, his opportunity, his role. He's not in the game at the end of game situations. Like these things are now kind of compiling into a disaster for him. And again, I just think it needs to fresh start. He needs a fresh scenery, but it's also on him to kind of be that leader and to be that player and to be that professional moving forward and not allow any of that other stuff question his on the court play, because when he plays, he's great and he's still must-watch TV and he's still one of the more entertaining players in the league. I just think the way the league is going with more shooting and outside perimeter shooting, it doesn't do him any favors.
Are there any mumblings? Like, do we know how the rest of the team has sort of taken to the new coach? Obviously, everyone's eyes are always on Ja and his relationship, but have we heard anything coming out of Memphis?
I haven't, but you would think on a team like that, right? Like they had to have gone to like a Jaren Jackson and a Ja and said, hey, you're somewhat okay with this.
But didn't they
right?
also not interview the two guys that everyone was
Well,
like,
that comes with winning. Like you gotta earn.
4-10 never feels good.
Yeah, but also in the past, you gotta earn the right to have a opinion about personnel changes and who's going to coach the team and all of those things. I don't think they've put together enough of a winning culture for those guys to be the end-all be-all as far as decision-making goes about who's going to coach the team and who's going to be around. Now, maybe has there been a conversation or this and that? Sure, but you look at the last coach, right? You got to focus on that. So once you get one coach fired, you know that after that, we start looking at players. We don't look at the next coach. It goes coach, then players, not coach, then players. So right now, the players are on the hot seat right now. Those are the guys that's being looked at, especially when you're not winning basketball games.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Paul George, this was positive. He made his return to the basketball court. Weirdly enough, against his former team, played 21 minutes, 9 points, 2 of 9 shooting, 7 rebounds. He's had a lot of injuries over the last several seasons, but I do think people were excited at least to get to see him back in uniform. Realistically, Chandler, like what kind of expectation do you have for PG?
Honestly, I'm such a Paul George fan to where I hope I see him get back to that level that he was once at. And again, this seems to be the question with Philly, with him, with Joel Embiid, now with Jared McCain. So they've been going through this a lot. When you watch these highlights, again, he's 35 years old in his 16th season. I don't know if it's fair to say he's going to be a 25, 30-point scorer, if he's going to be an all-star. But if he can still be a version of that two-way player, he can be available on the floor. He can go and play small ball 4 or 5 and still handle the ball and pick and roll, play make for this team. I think he still has a lot of value here to play. He still has a lot left to give. Paul George is one of the greater two-way players when he's healthy. Now, again, you look at his history.
Yeah.
He's 54 games, 31 games. He has missed a lot of time, and now he's going to come back to this situation, this franchise, that is no stranger to minute restrictions. They are no stranger to guys playing off surgeries and off injuries. So what version, I don't know, but I do know that it's a great thing to have that dude on the floor, and he's a great dude. He's a great teammate, and the fact that he can give him 20 to 25 minutes is going to make this team that much better. And
you know what? It's clear now, this is Tyrese's Maxey team. I don't care what you say. This is Maxey's team. Grimes is the future, quite possibly. VJ Edgecombe is the future, quite possibly, along with Tyrese Maxey. That takes Paul George off the hot seat. That takes him off the hot seat.
Way less pressure.
Be a bonus.
Yes, as far as what's expected of Paul George, because these guys are playing so well and you can see the future, you can see that you're going to get something good out of this, that takes PG off of the hot seat. And because of that, I think you'll see some of his best basketball because he can go out there and just be free and fill in the holes that they need that these other young guys not doing. Like Tyrese Maxey is doing the heavy lifting, right? You don't expect Paul George to go do that. You don't expect Paul to go out there and get you 25, 30 a night. Now, if he does that, that is a bonus for the Philadelphia 76ers. So I think that's a great thing. The scenario from this year to last year, I feel like are completely different. Last year, we were still having a conversation about Joel Embiid and Paul George and then Tyrese Maxey. Yeah. Now, it's Tyrese Maxey, and we're going to figure out where we go in the future from there. And I think that's a luxury for Paul George at this point of his career, where he can just go out and play freely and just play the best that he can play.
And you know what I like? I like that coach puts him right back in the starting lineup. Like at the end of the day, this is Paul George. He is going to play. He is going to be valuable for us. And at least this year, they're playing for something. Like, they're going to be a playoff team. Last year, it was just a wash. They kind of threw in the towel. They started tanking super early. This year, at least there's hope. There's enough talent and enough belief in that locker room that they can go and win games and they can advance in the playoffs. Look at the Eastern Conference. I mean, the Pistons are off to a hot start. The Cavs are obviously there. The Knicks are solid. There's no reason that the Philadelphia 76ers, if healthy, can make a run. So at least they are playing for something, and they are trying to be available and on the floor for this team to win games, and it's meaningful. It's not like last year where they're just going through the motions to go and get a hype draft pick.
That was rough last year.
This year, there's expectation.
By the way, they did come from 13 down to beat the Clippers. I think the Clippers is the story in this one as well. Like, that's a whole nother thing that we don't need to get into right now, because there were some games last night that we actually want to take a look at some of the action on the floor. So we will do that on the other side.
Nice. Take a roundabout way there.
Run it up, then run it back.
And on that note, let's do some Bucks Cavs.
Look at
shall
those
we?
jerseys.
All right.
Look at that court.
Wow. Oof. Donovan Mitchell, 37, leads the team. Big win, 118-106. Sam Merrill with 20 points, 6 of 9 on threes. This is 7 straight wins for Cleveland over Milwaukee. And the news in this one, of course, is that Giannis did leave the game in the first half with a groin injury. But let's talk a little Donovan here. He's averaging almost 31 a game this season. And I feel like, and maybe it's because of the hot start last year, we sort of simmered a bit, Lou, but feels like he's a little underrated right now.
Who feels that way?
What do you mean?
Personally, I have a rule. If you make upwards of $100 million, there's no such thing as being underrated.
That's actually a great point.
If you make 100 M's, who can rate you under?
That's
right?
actually a great point.
But also, listen, this is the most attention that I've seen on Donovan Mitchell in years, since Utah. Like, yeah, outside, people are talking about him.
I love
People
this.
are talking about Donovan
We're
Mitchell.
not talking about
So nothing underrated about what he's doing. It's not going under the radar at all. I like the way that he's playing. A lot of aggression, a lot of confidence. He's willing his team to wins, and I like the fact that they're going through the rigors. You know, they're not having a hot start that they had last year. You know, they're going through some young ups and downs in early on in this season. And they're persevering through a lot of it. I like that. I enjoy that. What are y'all laughing at?
Yeah, I think you made a good point earlier that last year the start that they had was historic,
It's
right?
like
They
hard
were on the
to
15-0
forget.
run. They were by far the best team in the Eastern Conference last year. Like, they were running away with the conference so early. Like, they were resting guys and still had a huge lead going for records. This year they're not, and the story is the surprising Pistons, or the story is the Western Conference, so we're not talking about them as much. So that was what you mean by underrated.
I think that's what, maybe talked about.
But he's going to be an all-star. He's still going to be an all-NBA player. He's still the best player on this team. And we want to talk about the development of Evan Mobley, or the 2 guards with Garland and him. And so there's always outside chatter with this team. But I still think this is the best team in the Eastern Conference. I think this is the team that everyone thinks they're going to have to go through when push comes to shove. And again, they have a lot to prove. This is a team that has given us a lot during the regular season and always kind of breaks our hearts when it matters. So I think they know that. They kind of revamped. They came back. They have the consistent team. They have the camaraderie of pretty much the same unit that they had last year. They have a great coach with the coach of the year last year in Kenny Atkinson. So I think we're always going to talk about Donovan Mitchell, but we're also going to talk about them when their team is elite and winning games, which they're doing, but not as much as they did last year at such a clip.
I think I figured it out. It's either you do the uniform and the old court, or this court in a different uniform, because it's a lot of orange and yellow. It's kind of hurting my eyes a little bit. Migraine. They lost to the Raptors last week. I thought this was interesting because Donovan said that was actually great, that the struggles that they're going through are great because of the very thing that last year it felt like they didn't get tested the way they needed to. You agree with that?
Well, the Raptors shouldn't be their test. That shouldn't be the test line. But again, like what I just said, it's important for them to go through these things. So when you get to a playoff series, you've had the experience of getting punched in the mouth. You've had the experience of being let down and knowing what that feeling is like. And so they're not off to a 15-0 start, but they're still right there. And Chandler still feels like they're the best team in the East.
You don't?
Because of how they play. I think they're right there in the mix. I think it's still being sorted out. I don't want to jump the gun because I like what Detroit is doing, but I need to see more. That's
By the way,
all it is.
Raptors are third, just for the
and listen, 10 days ago we were talking about the Chicago Bulls.
This is fair. I'm just saying.
We're still very early in this season that things are getting sorted out. I think of all the teams, Cleveland and Detroit are the 2 that I feel like are real. You saw You saw the writing on the wall last year with Detroit turning that corner. They were competitive last year. I thought Cleveland they felt like they were a letdown, so they're a team that's coming back with a chip on their shoulder, and they're playing like it. But with that, you want to see that in the personality. You want to, I think they still smiling too much.
Yeah.
Right? I think they still too friendly.
Okay.
Like with a team that goes through something like that and lose a playoff series that they felt like they should have, and they felt like they're a team that should have came out of the East, I want to see some anger. And so I think that's the next step for them. And you know, it's hard to play with anger. I get that part, and I understand that. But I want to see some aggression to a level where you're still reminding yourself every single game that, hey, we still got work to do.
I've got a team that you can look back to if you want to do a little history.
Let's do it.
When the Spurs lost in 13 to the Heat, and all of 14 was just an angry, march towards the
Revenge.
finals. It was very much, you could see it and feel it.
That's what I feel like is missing right now.
I like
in
that,
Cleveland.
actually.
Think about this, though. He's saying, he liked the early loss to Toronto.
Yeah.
They didn't lose their 5th game last season until January 12th.
Oh, that is insane.
It's still,
to
what is
say
it,
out loud.
November 18th, November 17th today? That is insane. So I think we judge this team based off the regular season a lot because they haven't, like I said, they haven't kind of got over that hump in the playoffs yet with this group. But I think it's good for them to be battle tested early.
Yeah.
I think it's good for them to kind of go through the highs and the lows in the season this year because, like we said, last year, it was a cakewalk for them. They just ran through the Eastern Conference last year. They won the conference by 3 games over Boston, who was the big, bad, scary team coming in. So I do like that this team is getting tested early. They also went through a lot of injuries last year. So if they can keep their core guys on the floor, this is the team to come out of the East.
The Giannis thing. Maybe that's also why it feels like sometimes we don't talk about certain players as much as we should. I feel like injuries have sort of plagued a lot of conversation so far of some pretty big names in the league, and Giannis leaving in the first half is not a small issue here, Chandler. If he misses time, or depending on how much time he does miss, and if you look at their upcoming schedule, how big a deal is this?
Yeah, it's tough. Obviously, you take a guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo off the floor, you're just a completely different team. And they have gotten bright spots from Ryan Rollins. He's been the shock and the surprise of this story. You got Bobby Portis, you got Kuzma, you got other guys that can collectively help win games. But when you have a guy of his level off the floor, it's hopefully not for hopefully not for a long time. And the schedule thing is fun to look at, but it's all going to even out. But even looking at this schedule, I mean,
Interesting schedule.
It's favorable again. So I don't know.
I don't know if it is. Philly, Detroit,
Brooklyn,
Portland,
Washington.
At Miami, at
New York. That's not favorable.
Maybe Brooklyn, Washington.
Where do you see the favor?
Say the last 2.
Nah, that's
And you could be back by
I was going this way. I was reading this way, I suppose. And again, that's why it's funny, because also anybody can lose, anybody can win. And you still have to play.
I mean, the
You
Nuggets
still have to go
lost
out there.
last night.
Exactly.
We're about to get to.
It's a lot of balance, yeah.
I hope it's not long, because this team, I think, more so than other teams that are contending, need this guy on the floor.
Well, he will get an MRI today, so I'm sure we will have those results as soon as possible. But yeah, speaking of anybody can win on any given night against anybody, that is pretty much what happened last night, because we know the Bulls have sort of started to fizzle here, and we know Denver's been on a tear. Well, that ended last night. Bulls beat Denver. Their 7-game win streak's over, 130-127. So many points. Josh Giddey with 21. Kevin Huerter finishes with 20. Jokic had his 36, 18, and 13th. Yep, 8 triple-double of the season. No Christian Brown. He's out 6 weeks with an ankle injury. Bulls had 6 scorers in double digits last night, and they were on a 5-game losing streak, Chandler. I do think these are one of those games where you're like, oh, that's fun. What happened?
They needed it. I think they were in like a double overtime game the night before, too, and they needed this win. Obviously, this is a team that started off hot. This is a team that we're talking about a potential all-star on their team who, if they found something in Josh Giddey, which that's still fair to say.
Yeah, I think
But now you got Bucelis, who's kind of still getting better. Kevin Huerter's having a great year. Ayo has really improved his game this year. So this team is just it's just a solid team. You don't know really the pecking order. They play hard. They're well coached by Billy Donovan, but they needed this win more so than anybody. And to go in Denver on the second night of a back-to-back and get this win against the best player in the world, this is a huge win to kind of get off that schneid. And it was the opposite for the Nuggets. The Nuggets were on a long winning streak and kind of gave one away here. So this was much needed for the Bulls.
Yeah,
also,
I think,
Bulls didn't have Kobe White last night, and they had him in the one before. It's kind of weird. It's just some,
well,
the
name of the game, the stars showed up on both teams. But Denver got outscored on the bench 66-9. That's where the game is. Like, if you
say that again,
66-9 from the bench. That's where the game is. Like, Jokic, if you look at these numbers and you close your eyes, Jokic and Jamal Murray did that thing, you probably say they probably won that basketball game. So I think this was one of those games where the bench came in and did their jobs and helped them win a big basketball game that they needed. If they match up again like this and they can shore up some of this bench scoring, I think we're talking about a different outcome. But that's what we're looking at. We're looking at a bench that got outscored 66-9 last night. You can't. It's hard to win a basketball game like that, no matter what your stars do.
That looks like a typo. Just looking at that over and over again looks like a typo. Josh Giddey, now I've got the thing, Lou, where if you sign anything for 100 M's, you can never be underrated.
Can't be underrated.
Which is what he did. He's got a 4-year, $100 million deal during the offseason, and that was his 4th triple-double last night. He's second only to Jokic.
Absolutely.
So let's rate him. He's doing it? Is he outplaying?
Yeah, I think he got a fair deal, and he's playing to that level. Now, he's also in year 1 of that deal. Let's have this conversation in year 3 and 4 and see if he's getting under or overpaid. But right now, I think that's a fair deal for a guy that got paid this offseason. 4 triple-doubles, you're getting your money's worth, and they're competitive. So I don't see any problems with it. I like it.
Yeah, Josh Giddey, he reminds me of this guy I played college with, this kid, Nick Calathis, who got drafted, still plays in Europe. He's just a 6'6", 6'5", who's just got a brilliant basketball mind. His vision is insane. He's a guy that you would want to play with if he's your point guard. I mean, he makes the game easy for you. He finds you. He really drops dimes. And now he's scoring. Now he's getting in the paint. He's being a little bit more efficient. He's always struggled with his outside shot, but I can't help but think this guy was on the Thunder like a year ago. And now he's a possible all-star, averaging damn near a triple-double.
Is that more of a compliment to OKC?
Right.
Or
I don't know.
Is that still a compliment for OKC?
They should have got more.
Does that mean?
I don't remember the trade, but they definitely should have got more for this dude because he is an absolute stud. And again, I think
they got a championship.
That's true.
It worked.
When you start thinking about all-star again, it's fun to say, yeah, he's an all-star with this new format, and they were 6-1. We were talking about that. Then they lose 5 in a row. So I think for him to actually reach that, it's like Denny in Washington. Like he's averaging 26 a game. It sounds good, but you have to be on a winning team. You have to separate yourself, and there's going to be so many, inflated numbers that to do it on a team that's under 500, probably not going to get an all-star.
This is a big win last night.
More games like this is going to help his case.
This one
but look at 22, 10-9. Like,
yeah, he's absolute balling.
Yeah, he's killing it.
All-star for sure.
Jokic, second straight triple-double, coming after a season-high 55 against the Clippers. And after the 55-point game, Tom Haberstroh said that we need to have a conversation about whether or not Jokic is the greatest offensive player ever. There are people that have started this conversation. But it sounds very, whoa, that's a big conversation.
It's just crazy because when you watch him play, it's not like what your typical center does, right? Like when I think of Shaq, I think of this physically dominating, just dunk on your head, and that's not what Jokic does necessarily. He's just such a finesse player. He's so smart. He's pretty much a point guard out there that just controls the offense. And he's got so many different ways to hurt you, whether that's with his passing, with his rebounding, with getting to the free throw line, it's just averaging triple doubles. The guy is insane. I love what he does on the court. I love what he does off the court. He is just an absolute stud. And
the horses?
And yeah, everything he does.
I love that.
He's incredible to watch, and he's already put himself in that kind of category of the greatest, not only one of the greatest centers of all time, one of the greatest players of all time.
Maybe I'm jaded because I lived it, and he's knocked me out of the playoffs a couple times, and I'm looking at it in that lens. It's hard for me to step outside of my personal experience with this guy to say that he's the best offensive player. But when you look at the numbers, when you look at the impact and how he's changed the way that we view the Denver Nuggets as a whole, you have to give him credit for what he's brought to the table. Like, I had no idea that this type of talent was going to come down the pipeline when he started to begin the bubble as an all-star level guy. And now you look back 5 years later, and he's still averaging triple-doubles and still being more impactful as ever. But, sometimes we throw the greatest of all time out there a little too lightly.
Fair.
We use that word ever too lightly. I like to see these things play out. Now, right now, he's already in that conversation with a lot of these guys, but ever is going to be subjective to what you like, what style of play that you're into. But other than that, he has to be in that conversation.
I just pulled up that tweet the other day with all the crazy Jokic stats. This season alone, by the way, his points per game is already higher than Hakeem Olajuwon in any given year. Higher than Duncan is his rebounds. Jason Kidd's career high, he's got that 10.8 assists per game. Reggie Miller's career high, had 3. Jokic has that as well, and then higher than Shaq in any year.
Basically, the best of all these great players, he's better.
It's good this year, right now. And by the way, and we're talking about a guy who's already won, who's been MVP, and he's having this now.
We're also talking about,
scary.
and they're 10-3, and they're also
that's what I'm saying. It's hard. It's hard to ignore the fact that he's in the conversation with the all-time greats for sure.
I know it's hard to say.
He's still leveling it out.
There's a player that I played with that now coaches on the Denver Nuggets staff who coaches Jokic and played with Dirk Nowitzki. And he said, I've never seen anything like it.
Why aren't you just saying his name? This seems a little weird.
Why did you go to
Well, because I don't know. JJ
Mystery.
Barea, basically, he was like, I played with Dirk. I see this guy. I've never seen anything like this dude. And he played with Dirk.
That's a big deal.
And he won a championship with Dirk in 2011. And he said it's another level.
That's a big deal for him to say.
It's Dirk we're talking about. And JJ is just blown away by Jokic, even what he does in the games, in practice. He's just a robot with his work ethic, what he does, how he preps. He practices. He does every single drill. Like, he is a low-maintenance star that just, I'm telling you, this guy won a championship with Dirk and said it's not even close.
And also saw some greats up close.
It's not even close.
That is, I love Jokic, so I love hearing that, is what I'm trying to say. Knicks and Heat also had a little competition last night. Miami survives this one. It was a close. They had a late comeback, 115-113. I'm sorry, the Knicks had a late comeback. Norman Powell with 19, Khalil Ware with 16 and 14. Miles McBride finishes with 25. Cat had 22 and 16. 7 scores for Miami in double digits last night. You didn't have Brunson, OG, Bam, or Hero. All those guys were out for both squads. But Cat with the big 3. That's what got the Knicks to within 1. And then McBride misses. Cat rebounds and then misses a 17-footer to try to get this thing at the buzzer. Now, New York thinks he got fouled. If you listen to both calls, they're very, very different calls. What'd you think, Chandler?
I mean, it's a tough play. I think there's some contact there. He also could have hit this fadeaway here, but this was a physical game down the stretch. And you know who was really impressed with me was the kid Ware from Miami.
That's not a foul, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, I'd have to watch it again here in slow, but I mean, this is kind of
Where's the foul? Where's the contact?
I mean, there's just a lot going on.
I mean, look, they had their opportunities, but
we got to pick our poison. Either we're going to complain that the referees are too involved in deciding games, or you got to let the players go out and do it. I think this is one of the rare instances where you play on. Is there contact? If so, it's marginal at best. I don't think it took away from the fact that he got an offensive rebound and was able to get 2 shots at the rim.
And also, as a player, you want to put the onus on the referee, right? So but a referee does not want to blow the whistle at the end of the game. So I think that gives the defense a little bit more leeway to be physical and to kind of bump on an offensive rebound, because they're not going to call a box out foul.
I hope not.
At the end of a game. So I think it was a fair play on, but again, this game could have went. What I was going to say is the kid Ware from Miami last night, he really gave Cat trouble with just his length, his shot blocking, the way he catches lobs at the rim. That kid, I don't know, I wish they could find more minutes for him somehow. I mean, he's 24 minutes a game, but he's only averaging 11 and he's averaging 11 and 10.
They'll figure it out.
And 24. That kid needs to play more. He's a stud.
By the way, just for the record, Cat shooting worst percentage of his career so far this season. So that's something to keep your eye on as New York continues down the road.
Get back in that bodega.
The big bodega?
Get back.
I don't know what's going on down there.
Get your chopped cheese. Get your groove back, big fella.
Oh, my goodness. Now we're serving. All right, we take a quick break. More Run It Back on the other side. Chopped cheese.
Run it up, then run it back.
Now, you buying that. Paul Pierce, he thinks this is an interesting one. It just feels very like a clean swap. Ja for Trae. There you go. Atlanta and Memphis. That's it. That would work.
I don't hate it. Yeah, listen, selfishly, I want to see Trae Young in the Atlanta Hawks uniform forever. I know that's not how this business works, but if you take a look at this clean swap for these 2 guys, I don't hate it for either party. I'm buying.
I like it more for Memphis. I think Trae Young and Triple J and that core and that young core, I think he can really take that team to the next level just with his outside shooting, with the way they can play the 2-man game with Jaren. I think Ja would be fun in Atlanta with all those athletic wings. And I think it, on paper, does make sense. But like, if I had to guess who would win this trade, it would be Memphis.
But no. Nobody asked you to see who was going to win. Are you buying the fact that we could swap these guys out and it's okay?
If I'm Atlanta, I don't do it. So no.
You don't do it.
No.
You don't. Okay, so let me ask you this: are you more concerned with like a degrading talent situation, or is it just a fresh start?
Yeah,
like the fresh starts to sell?
That's the only reason I would do it, is because of what we talked about earlier, where you put Ja in a different situation, you put him with a new coaching staff, a new city, which is awesome, And I think it could work. I just think basketball-wise and system and fit-wise, I think Trae Young fits with this Memphis Grizzlies.
You say Memphis wouldn't do it. Who wouldn't do it?
Atlanta.
No, I think Atlanta would. I don't think Atlanta would do it.
That's interesting. I think they would.
I think it would be interesting. Seems like the almost
cares
the most
what we
perfect trade.
Yeah, what do we know?
Guys, that's not the attitude. Have everybody cares.
Moving on, please.
Okay, fine. Zach Lowe's podcasts. All right, Chris Finch took a jab at JJ Redick, saying that having a podcast will qualify you to coach the Lakers. Okay, they do have.
So there's hope for us.
You guys have a chance.
Dallas.
Long-standing relationship, back to 19. Just a friendly jab?
Yeah, I will say I played for Chris Finch, and this is just his dry,
He
sense
seems
of
fun. I
humor.
like
There's been some back and forth with these two, and this was definitely a little zinger from the top
zinger.
rope that he threw at him. But I think this is just friendly. This is nothing malicious. I think there's a little truth behind it, and I think it's a little salt.
I mean, it's a funny reservoir.
Every good zinger has a sprinkle of truth in it.
Think about Chris Finch's path and everything he had to become a head coach.
He did the
JJ
real
Redick's
path.
So I think there's definitely some jealousy. There's some animosity there.
Also,
but Finch is awesome. This was
Is it jealousy or is it just
he
like
did do the path, but JJ Redick and any other ex-pro, I feel like, should be at the front of the line to coach basketball teams.
Yeah.
Any other?
Get an opportunity.
Oof, I don't know about that.
Yeah, listen, I'm saying a broad statement because I don't have the time to expand on it. But what I'm saying is, JJ Redick, if any former players, I think they should be at the front of the line to talk to anyways.
I will say, if
think
there is
some
a
former
player
players
that
have no
hadn't
business.
coached that's probly qualified to coach, it's JJ Redick.
Because
I mean, he's such a basketball mind. He was great on TV. The way he would play,
Yeah. Smartest guy in the room.
I think at this point he's earned. I think at this point
they're both great. I think this is more friendly.
He's a proven good head coach. We all had
It's working.
we both were weary about him getting that opportunity early, but once he started coaching the team, he earned his wings. I think he's a reputable coach.
Because it felt silly. You're doing a podcast with LeBron, now you're coaching.
There's
that's
also
all.
a story like the one team he coached was like
his
some
kid,
kids
yeah.
Brooklyn
Exactly.
league,
It
like
was a funny story.
YMCA league. So it was a little silly that he went from that to the Lakers.
If he was failing, it would be the easiest thing to make fun
But
of.
I don't think there's like a
But he's not.
story here. I don't think JJ's like pissed at Finch for
No, I can't imagine. No, it's fun.
They should just fight.
Pillow fight.
No, Missoula's
Pull
there.
hair. Wow.
We haven't heard much from Missoula. What's he up to?
No, I don't want to right now. I feel a little bit weird, actually. Same podcast revealed that one of the reasons that Minnesota ended up drafting Anthony Edwards over LaMelo Ball was because of a poor interview situation in which Ball claims he wants to be president of the United States.
What's so wrong with that?
I'm a little confused by this.
Is this a real like?
Why?
But even if he did say that,
say a Drew Holiday said this,
interesting.
Well,
we would look at this completely different. And what's the
Can
problem?
we all agree that the line for being president of the United States isn't what it used to be? Like, you can just be president of the
anything's
United
possible.
States.
Anything's possible.
LaMelo, you can be president of the United States.
I just want to know, like,
Anything
I
is
don't have
possible.
context here. Was he joking? Was he dead ass? Like, I need some
But
context.
let me ask you this. Does
Also,
it matter?
does it? Yeah, exactly. Does that really matter? If a kid can play, listen. If it was Cooper Flagg that said that this year, you think Dallas isn't taking number one because he said that? So, like, I think this is just like a little side note because they didn't really want him.
That's probably more
I mean,
it.
this is who cares if he said that? It's not like.
It's a weird
Also, here at Running Back, if you don't put your name on it, your face on it, we don't care.
But do you remember like the draft? I remember going through the draft process there, like to be honest was the thing. I remember it was like, have you ever drank or I remember like smoked weed? And I just remember you're supposed to say yes, basically, if you have, because like they already know you have, and like who cares?
Like your parents already know the
like
answer.
just be honest. So I think that's more the process of just like getting to know these kids, and then when he says that, I would take it as like almost funny. Like
either way, I'd be like fine with it.
So
it's either funny or not.
What's the issue?
When you're scouting guys and you're going to overseas games and high school games and college games, and it comes down to one interview with somebody, and that's what you make your decision.
I think it was a combination of his game and his personality and the family and I think it was I don't think this comment was Wyatt.
Well, then just say he's not the guy for our organization and keep moving. Don't make it about him like it was something wrong with him.
Because also, I don't think that answer's bad. Like, okay, well, maybe you do want to be president. Who am I to say no?
Listen, I've heard guys say worse things that they wanted to be besides basketball players, and it wasn't the president.
I mean, at this point, it doesn't matter. Dave McMenamin said that Austin Reeves is not obsessed with earning every dollar on his next deal. He just wants to spend his entire career with the Lakers. We have heard this before, but now we're putting the money part on there. All right, so hometown discount.
Till he gets offered $50 million
I was
more.
about to say,
Oh, here we go.
Listen, piece of advice. Leave all your options open. It's fun now and the honeymoon is going really well and everything is great. Keep your options open because they'll come back and say, hey, I know you love it here. We only got this, so we're trying to get
Don't
this
do
guy.
it.
No, I want
Take
my
the money.
cheese. I want everything that I deserve. And so please don't.
I
please
remember
don't say yourself
there was
short.
a story when Jordan Clarkson was cooking on the Lakers and he was about to be a free agent and he took less money to stay in LA than to go to like Utah. And guess what happened that
Well, I did
very
that
next
too.
season? You get traded. So you have a small, short window to make all the bread you can make, especially Austin Reeves. So now you're careering. You're
Come
about
on,
to be
dude.
an all-star. You are healthy. You
And
are
he still
balling.
ended up in Utah.
I mean,
And then
exactly.
that's
the
what I'm saying.
irony.
It was the crazy. I was
He
like, this
still
dude,
ended
I
up
think he was like
Still
dating a
goes
girl. Like it was crazy. I'm like, you stayed in LA. Austin Reeves, get your money.
Austin Reeves, take some advice.
You're going to play this game until you're 34, 35 years old.
job.
Top.
No discounts.
Take your money.
It's a job.
Zero
Nobody's
discounts.
loyal to
No
you.
discounts.
You're loyal to yourself.
They will trade the
Austin.
minute you get hurt and you are not as good. You're getting
out.
traded to Washington. so
Loyalty's
take your money.
dead, Austin Reeves. Okay, I think we gave him a lot of really good sound advice. I hope he was listening.
No discounts, brother.
No discounts. We'll be right back. Never.
Run it back, run it up, run it back, run it up.
One, I like this one because it involves Kenyon Martin talking about Draymond Green. Says he's not one of those guys, and then went on to say that what he does is very calculated, and he's not going to do anything that somebody or to somebody who's going to do something back to him.
This isn't really my lane.
Hey, listen, I was about to say, listen, they out of my weight class.
You
And
said-
I
This
see-
is a good one.
listen,
It's a good battle.
You want Finch and JJ Redick to fight? I want these two guys
Oh, this
to
would be
fight.
not a good fight.
Hey,
Put them
man.
on the Jake Paul card and let them scrap it
All
out.
my money's on
Hey,
Kenyon.
I see
All of it.
Kmart every other day. I don't want no smoke. Both of them out of my weight class, man.
Is there anything else we can talk about?
Can I say it then?
This makes me uncomfortable.
Kenyon
I'm a
Martin
lover.
is right. He's 100% right, and I think that's.
What did
I
he
think-
say? I didn't even. I
Basically,
missed
that
it.
what Draymond does is only against people who will never do anything back to him. So it's very calculated. And
He kind of
he's
went.
a hold
He
me
went
back
at
guy.
Nurkic. Him and Nurkic have a thing. Nurkic, I think, is pretty tough. His dad was like a cop that beat up like 11 guys.
I respect both of their games.
Did you hear that story?
How about that?
You ever hear the Nurkic dad story?
Is it
Let's-
true
let's
before
go.
you tell it?
We got time.
Okay. Is it true though?
First of all, he's massive. You should look him up.
Easy,
His dad
cowboy.
is.
And like, there's like a legendary story where he like literally beat up like 8 dudes at one time.
Like John Wick style?
Yes.
Oh, he's big. His
Yes.
name's Haris Nurkic.
Yeah, it is. So I mean, Draymond tried his son, so I think he's got to be
No,
some
hold
sort
on.
of
That ain't
tough.
how that work. That ain't how that works. You can't give the son credit for what the dad
I
did.
said it's not
That is-
my lane.
That's
You
not
really
how that
can't.
works,
This
bro.
isn't my category here.
Yeah,
this is
that
your
ain't how that-
question.
I don't know.
I
side.
cop deuces. I don't no smoke.
You can't do that. It's so lame. By the way, we might get a LeBron James return tonight.
Come on.
Yeah.
What's everybody doing? We got certain meals planned for it? How we
I'll
we
be in the
celebrating?
lounge.
You're always in the lounge.
The underground lounge.
By the way, have you seen the lounge merch? Let's get on
that's
that,
dope.
Conrad.
Cross
Let's get a
promo.
tight-
Thanks,
let's get a
guys.
tight
Yeah,
shot
we
on
got
that.
you. What about you? By the way, he kind of went. I did find this funny. LeBron James with press the other day talking about sciatica, and he's like, "Have ever you guys had it? Has anybody here had it?" And you know, obviously everybody sort of had some version of it. He's like, "I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy."
Exactly what is it again?
It's pain. It's nerve stuff in the backs, and like it's just very painful and uncomfortable.
Okay.
There are levels to it.
I mean, listen, he's coming back at home against Utah Jazz, so it's a
Allegedly.
great game to kind of get his legs back. And again, this is what the Lakers need. This is a team that started off pretty hot.
So hot.
They're getting healthy, and now they're going to be fully loaded against one of the weaker teams in the conference. I like the fact that he'll be back and available.
We
Yeah.
think most likely, probably.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing this. This will be a game that I'll be tuned into. I just want to see him back out on the floor. Again, we're talking about one of the icons of the game. And I want to see how he fits in with this
Me
Lakers
too.
group and what they've been able to do early in this season. So, it'll be a
What
good
does
matchup.
Austin Reeves do? Does Austin Reeves still do what he's doing? Does he take
A
a step
version
back?
of it. A version.
Only-
Only
more-
thing
is LeBron
Austin
more of a
Reeves need to do
playmaker?
is not take a discount.
No discount, Austin.
I'm sure now taking a discount.
We'll be back tomorrow.
Run it up, then run it back, yeah, yeah.